Hi there. Do you have an online business? Maybe you're a coach or a course creator, and you're trying to figure out how to overall improve your revenue, get more customers, get more clients, and really scale your business. Well, I want to introduce you to a topic called data first marketing. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. My name is Carolyn O'Brien, and I help online business owners use metrics and data to improve their business, see revenue growth, and overall grow their impact. So, data first marketing, maybe you've heard of it, and maybe you haven't, but it really is something that I try to bring to my clients. It teaches you how to use data to guide your strategic decisions and help you make more money ultimately in your business. And so it really is two key pieces. I think of it as a process and a mindset because you really have to have this mindset where every time you make a big decision, or even small decisions, really, is that you're taking a step back and you're thinking about the data before you go ahead and make that decision. So, whether you want to build a new webinar for your funnel, whether you want a new sales page, whether you want to update your opt in page, maybe you want a new price point for your product. Before you go in and make those changes, you think, what does the data say? Right. And so you kind of pause and look at the data to help guide you in what decision you should be making, whether that change needs to happen at all, whether you don't need to make that change, whether you need to focus on something else entirely. And it can also help lead you to the changes that you should be making and what direction you should be going in. So the second piece is the process, right? You need to have a process in place so that when you do take that pause and you do think about what decision you should be going in, decision you should be making, and direction you should be going in, you have the data to back it up. And so what is the first step, right? Like, how do you get started? And the first step really is to just start tracking metrics in your business. And so there's a ton of metrics you should track or you could track, but you don't want to track them all, right? Because tracking too many metrics is almost as bad as not tracking any metrics at all. So I want you to focus on money metrics to start, right? Because you're running a business, you don't have a hobby, so you need to be making money in your business. So focus on money metrics, things like revenue, sales, purchases, refunds, profit, and then take it a step further and think about what activity, what funnel, what program, what product in your business is driving the most amount of revenue. And then I want you to think about the customer journey of that particular funnel or that product and map out what are the stages that the customer goes through in order to, one, find out about you, to get to know you, to then become a customer, and map out the metrics for that customer journey, right? So if it's a webinar opt-in, right? So they go to maybe the opt-in page, then they go to hopefully fill out the form and then they opt in. Then they go to a thank you page, then they watch the webinar. Then they maybe go to a sales page, they go to a checkout page, they're opening emails, and then they purchase. And so, just in that kind of really simple customer journey, there's certain metrics that are really important that you could start tracking in order to get started in this data first process. And then the next level beyond that is then really building dashboards to support your business and help your decision making when it comes to data first marketing. So, a lot of the feedback I get from clients is that they feel like they're not math people, they're not numbers people, they don't want to look at spreadsheets. And I do get that because not everyone's brain works that way. But that's why dashboards are so important because you can visualize numbers in graphs, in tables, in charts so that you can understand them and that you can rely on data. So I want to show you kind of like step one and step two when it comes to data first marketing and getting started. This would be step one, right? Like this is just an example of metrics that you could track. And in this example, we have different page views, different number of opt-ins, and then the conversion rate. So really simple. That's something that you could start tracking in your business for different freebies or lead magnets that you have set up, right? And it's really, really simple. I use Google Sheets. I think it's a great tool to collaborate with your team. And speaking of team, if you have a VA in your team, this is something that they could definitely help out with in terms of tracking numbers and collecting the data. And then you, as the business owner or CEO, can then review the data. And then when we get to the next level of dashboards, like that's where you can focus is reviewing the dashboards. And then I have different tabs at the bottom for maybe different parts of the funnel, right? This is another funnel. We're looking at opt-in page views, opt-ins, page conversion, webinar play rate, engagement rate, sales page, checkout page, purchases, revenue, sales, conversion rate, ad spend, right? So you can just see it really goes down the customer journey, each step that person's going through. That's exactly how I start to begin to map out what metrics I want to start tracking for a business. And then, each tab I use at the bottom, just to separate out certain things. So if I had, promotions, I would want to do a separate tab for promotion or launch tracking rather than, my evergreen metrics. So this would be step one, is come up with the metrics you want to track, and then create a Google Sheet, have you or a team member help you start collecting the data and getting these metrics in. Depending on the software you're using, different metrics may come from different places, but that's okay because the Google Sheet will allow you to put them all in one place, which will be really easy to analyze the data when it gets to that point. And then the next kind of phase is dashboards, right? This is an example of a CEO dashboard, kind of a more general, broad dashboard, but you as the business owner or CEO can be looking at this on a weekly basis and then making decisions based on this data. So, the Google Sheet is built out in a way that then connects to this dashboard, which makes it really easy to go from phase one to phase two when it comes to data first marketing. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information should be below this video. And if you're looking for templates or trainings or want to chat further, then get the links below and I look forward to it. Thanks.